Welcome to the CPO Rising podcast series brought to you by Products That Count, the world's largest nonprofit community, engaging over 500,000 product managers and chief product officers united by a mission to empower everyone to build products that truly count. In a world flooded with products, only a few ignite passion, deliver value at scale, and transform lives. Behind those exceptional products are visionary CPOs and high-performing product teams. We recognize these trailblazers through our coveted awards, accelerate careers from PM to the C-suite and beyond through daily best practices, and serve as the trusted advisor to nearly all Fortune 1000 CPOs. Our corporate alliance includes Walmart, Ford, Cisco, Johnson & Johnson, Amplitude, and more. The most admired product leaders across industries serve on our advisory council, guiding the future of product leadership. Together, we're shaping a future where every product counts. Learn more at productsthatcount.org. Produced in partnership with Capgemini and Mighty Capital, this series brings you exclusive conversations between our resident CPO, Renee Niemi, and the 2025 CPO Award winners. Get ready for raw insights, real strategies, and the secrets behind their success. Let's get into it.
Hi there. Today I have with me Daniel Lereya. He is the Chief Product and Technology Officer of Monday. First of all, Daniel, I just want to say welcome and congrats for being one of our best CPOs of 2025.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm really looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. Why don't we start by having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Monday and maybe a tad about your journey to Chief Product Officer and
Okay.
Technology Officer.
Great. So, as you said, my name is Daniel, and I'm the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Monday. I joined the company almost 9 years ago. So, I joined the company. We were around 30 people at the company. Uh, so, over these last few years, I had a huge privilege to go through all of the different phases of the company. Uh, so when I joined, the engineering team was quite small. We didn't have the product function back then. And since these times, we've been building the company. Monday, as a company, have been IPO'd, I think 3.5 years ago. So also this was a meaningful step in our journey. And now, Monday.com is a public company. We're around 2,500 employees with the company. We're spread globally. We have our headquarters in Tel Aviv, also a major site in New York, London, Australia, and many, many other places around the world. And basically, what we're building is what we call the work operating system for work, meaning that we see ourselves as our mission is to actually drive work across information workers around the globe, whether you're a small company, a large enterprise, tech, non-tech alike, with a huge, huge variety of customers. Uh, and this is in a nutshell about Monday. Prior to Monday, I've been working in quite different companies, I would say. Like previously to Monday, I worked at IBM, and previously to that in SAP. But it was always around technology and also technology that gets to people's hands. I really love the connection, between the tech and the product, and like eventually providing value to customers and seeing how they use what you built. So this is my passion. And I'm originally, an engineer. So I started as an engineer, then went up, in my roles leading teams and till today, basically.
Well, let's pull on that thread for a little bit because I did notice that you kind of really grew up the ranks. Well, in Monday.com, you started as one of 30 people. That's crazy. Really, really small if you think about how much growth you've seen. So tell me a little bit about that transition from engineer to product leader and engineering leader. Like how did that transition happen and how did you end up kind of growing so successfully with the company and the role?
Yeah, it's a good question. I must say that, in Monday, we really believe that product, aside from it being a profession, it's really a way to look at the world and looking on problems and solving problems. So you can actually, do product on basically everything, not only on digital products. I can share that in Monday, back in the days, although, Monday is a product company, meaning that everything is built around the product. And back in the days, we were a small engineering team. We didn't have product management. We actually didn't like really understood the role, I would say. Uh, and it created very interesting dynamics because, everyone were actually applying a lot of things that later on we like more assumed it's the product role. Okay. Like, so you would see developers tracking the data of things that they release to production, doing A/B tests, analyzing business results. And in that sense, I think that it created dynamics that stayed with us till today, where we see product as something and a lot of things from the product role that everyone should understand, everyone should do, everyone should look at the world this way and to solve problems this way. uh, I can share that, at the beginning, we didn't have product. And then when the first PM joined Monday, it was also not joining the entire team, but rather she took a very complex challenge that we had in the product and tried to solve it. So we didn't work like everyone together until a phase where we got introduced to someone called Gil. He actually was the founder of Face.com. Later on, sold his company to Facebook, and he spent few years in Facebook in the Valley and came with like what is product management and how we bring product management also to Israel in a way that is being done in the Valley. At the beginning, we said, "Listen, we don't need product management. We are like we saw success back then. We, lived our customers, lived our product. Our product advanced so much." But after continuing and discussing with him, we suddenly saw the huge potential in it and starting to build the product management within Monday. And I think that, in many ways, many of the things that we are doing today at scale are things that we did from day one. So I really believe that both, myself and also, of course, Roy and around the founders of Monday, which are both engineers, but they are both also like product people that sees, you know, this thing as an holistic thing rather than different professions that you need to split. So we have quite an interesting journey on that side, I would say.
Yeah. Well, so tell me a little bit of the difference. What is the different mindset that you have today, if you will, that you didn't have in the early days as a product leader versus a technology leader?
So, for me, it always was the combination.
Mm.
So I don't think it's different. I think that many of like a huge part of the magic in Monday is that we built an organization, which is our internal lingo for it is builders. Builders actually stand for all the people that are building with their hands the product. And, these are the product managers, it's the engineers, the product designers, data. But if you think about it, we took this concept to the extreme. So a builders team in Monday actually works together toward a shared goal on the outside world. In that sense, the dynamics between the different professions is not like in many places you see a dynamics of forcing hands. Like product says what we need to do, engineer says no, we need to do, we can't execute it, or we can do, and we need to do things differently. And I think that the fact that we created this, unified concept of builders, which are united on an external goal rather than an internal, synthetic goal of like making the best PRD or making the best dev spec or making the best design, uh, really connected everyone to the impact and created a situation where the product management definition in Monday is quite different from different places, for other places, I mean. So I can say that in my role, I feel that I mainly had the privilege to bring these concepts into life and into scale afterwards, of like making sure that how everything and everyone are working together. Many of the, the lines that we have between the different professions are like a bit blurry. And we
Uh-huh.
really love that because when you have very talented people, you want everyone's brains into the challenge and you don't want to limit people by their profession. With that, uh, we're working extremely hard in making sure that everyone gets the opportunity to bring his superpowers to the table. So I think these are like two edges of the same, of the same situation that we constantly try to balance with. But the impact of everyone having this mindset, this product mindset, I think it's huge. So you'll see developers that are talking about impact when solving bugs and getting to decisions. You'll see designers that suddenly have the, the most, I would say, innovative concepts in growth tactics because they understand what we are trying to achieve. And also, I think that the product in Monday is a function that really shapes the company's strategy and really from the bottom up. Many of the things that we did in Monday are because of like product managers that actually drove that from the bottom up. And this is because we see the product role as something extremely holistic that actually understand a very wide context.
Wow, amazing. There's so much to unpack here. I guess where I would love to start, because it really does seem like you have an evolved sense of product management, and I love this concept that you mentioned of the blurring of the lines, which, by the way, we're seeing more and more with AI. And so my question for you is, has the role actually morphed even more in the last year or year and a half with these new tools? And are you seeing even further blurring a line, or what does product management 2025 look like at Monday?
Yeah. So it's a very interesting question, and something that we were talking a lot about. I'll start by saying that for me, in essence, the product role hasn't changed and is not going to change. And as I see the product role, basically, it's creating value to customers, value that they care about, and that drive their needs and their businesses forward. And I think that the best product managers, in my eyes, are the ones that are extremely impact driven. They really want to know how every bit of movement that they are doing contributes a significant value to customers. And in that sense, I think AI is a huge accelerator because, you know, suddenly myself as a product manager, I can be much more impactful. I can have like, first of all, I can create much better understanding of the wider context. Okay. All the information is there. It can be easily digested. It can be easily, even like from the smallest researchers to the most complex one, suddenly everything is in the tip of my fingers in a much easier way. So this allows me to create both for myself and for my teams a better understanding of the reality, which I think this is one of the main things that product management should do. Second, I feel that once I understand this reality, it allows me to explore much more paths. The fact that engineers suddenly became much more powerful, so you can explore much more paths simultaneously. You can do even
Mhm.
shorter iterations, which I believe is the secret, like to get to the optimized result. So this is another very important thing. And also, I think that you can, in many ways, and I see it in teams in Monday, uh, you know, when the team are autonomous in part of the things that they can start and doing it by themselves and they don't need the product manager for each one of the decisions, each one of the like, you know, decision points, because they can experiment, they have the methodology, they work with goals. Suddenly, the product manager can think on a different level. Okay. And I think that many times, when things get intense, product management can wear down and become, more of a project management or execution management and things like that. And I think that great product managers create a shared understanding of the world. So AI accelerates that. They create focused goals. And in that sense, I think AI can help them to create much more focused goals because they have better understanding of the
Yeah.
world. And also, like in terms of execution, once they have that, they can have and provide more autonomy to the teams while they are continuing and thinking and exploring strategy and things that are like wider than what they are currently doing. So I really see this as an acceleration of the role. And I do think that what we are going to see is that the best product managers are going to be, you know, infinite times more powerful as AI progresses. And it will create a, a bigger, difference between the ones that are like top notch and the ones that are not. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
in the
Yep.
day to day, currently, it can be eroded because there is a lot of project management to do, because there is a lot of dependencies in the different teams and so on.
Yeah. Fascinating. So, uh, any specific use cases come to mind? Like I hear everything you're saying in theory, but boy, I would love to hear a story on where you've seen a product manager get superpowered by AI. Any good stories?
Yeah. So I'll start by saying that, you know, we at Monday really believe that technology is a superpower and we need to leverage it not only to build the best product, but also on how we work. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but since we were extremely small, we built an internal system called Big Brain. And this system was actually about how can we take the company's employees and make them 10x at what they do. So this was also for the product. So for instance, the A/B test tool in Monday was built in Big Brain. Okay. And the
Mm.
fact that we built it by ourselves, A, made us experts in this. And second, we evolved together with it and managed to drive, although we are scaling very, very rapidly, managed to drive to a specific direction. So I think that in that sense, AI again is something that really excites us because suddenly you can do so much more with much less effort in that respect. So I think that many times when we talk about AI, we talk about the big things, about the major, major things that sounds
Yeah.
like huge, but I think we're missing a lot of things of the day to day. And our thoughts and our thought process is actually taking the product manager day and see the pie, where he spends his time, what are his challenges, and again, doing a product for this and understanding how can we leverage it. So instead of like saying like one meaning, for example, we have so many. For instance, I'll give you just one example. We just had like our annual kickoff of the builders, and we talked about ways we can leverage AI internally, which are not like writing code, making better designs, research with Perplexity or like ChatGPT, but things that are internal to us and will make us, super PMs or super engineers and so on, super builders. So one example, for instance, uh, we're now building an A/B test bot, internal agent for A/B tests that think about now I'm introducing a new hypothesis for a test that I want to test. I can ask this agent about all the past tests that can be relevant, about the insights, get immediately the designs, get immediately the results, get immediately the main takeaways that I had, and it may sound small, but now for me, it's like, many times like because I'm so long time at the company, I have all these things in my head. So I'm feeling that many times with one sentence of saying like, listen, we did it back then. It doesn't mean it's not a good idea, but this is what we learned back then, just for you to know. And these are like, the execution KPIs that we had. And this is things that we know we should put an emphasis in order to have a valid test for the thesis and so on. So having this kind of thing in your repository is amazing, and all the way to the simplest things. I'm planning a test of doing this variant and this variant on this population, and get immediate response of like, it will take you, based on the production data, it will take you 1 year to get to conclusions. So you need to change the execution of the test. You need to change the target audience. So I think this is just an example, but the bigger point is that many of the things that we have as challenges in the day to day are like things that are being neglected in my eyes, like when we look in where AI can really help you. So we are looking for these kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Super, super interesting to me that as you were talking about even your own knowledge and the fact that what would happen when you leave? Does the organization lose that knowledge? And the fact that AI can actually help grab that knowledge and make it evergreen is just kind of it's amazing. Just in terms of not repeating the same mistakes, growing upon your learnings, and over time, you can easily see how that becomes exponential. Fascinating.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that, that Monday.com is product-centered. Can you say a little bit more, about that and maybe how it helps you drive priorities, make decisions, and maybe even kind of becomes the center around planning?
Yeah. So first of all, maybe just about the way we think about it. So we have a saying that every problem that you have in the company, if you'll dig deep enough, you'll get to the product. Okay. And I really believe in company like Monday, because eventually the value that we provide to to our customers is around the product. And when I say product, it's not only the interface, it's the service that we provide, it's like the different touch points that customers have with Monday. But our meaning of being like a product company or product center company is that we understand that our success and our failure derived from the value that we manage to provide to our customers. And we should be very religious about that. So many times it means that in case you have an issue, you need to dig deeper and to understand what's the problem with the product. And we take it to the extreme. So we really love to take, uh, I would say, issues that every company has. Let's take an example, billing issues. Every company that I'm aware of, like SaaS company that have like, subscription, they basically have a lot of issues around billing. And this is one of the most, I would say, in terms of tickets from customers, it's always one of the biggest ones. So, you know, there are so many different approaches to that. You can have better training for the support people. You can have macros. You can have AI answering tickets. But being a product company in that sense means that you need to dig deep, deep, deep until you get to the root cause, which is the product. And then in many cases, someone like I would say says, "Listen, I managed to reduce the amount of tickets that the support team needs to answer." We say it's not a good thing. We want to eliminate the pain from the product itself, and it drives a different way of thinking. And also, you can think about it as Monday. I'll give you a different example. Until we had like I think like around 10,000 paying customers and like 10 million in ARR, we didn't have sales. Why? Because we wanted to build a product that it is the reason why you win. It is
Yeah.
like a product that people can actually come in no touch, adopt it. And we really believe that this would drive us to build the right product and the right company afterwards. And I think that in that sense, later on we understood that like having sales is something that some people need, and that it's not a good service that we provide if we won't do it. But the main thought about like a product that is selling itself, that its value is so clear, and no touch funnel is the toughest judge of value, right? And like clarity. And in that sense, I think these are all things that for me are manifests of being a product company. And another important point is that we really believe, I think that being a product company for us was also allowing us to build with a long-term perspective. So, Monday was like originally built as a platform from day one, meaning we wanted to build or to give our customers the power of software, giving them building blocks, building for themselves the best solutions out there. And but we did it with a go-to-market of project management, right? Because back in the days, it was hard for us to define what Monday is. The concept of
Mhm.
platform and things like that will, no code, low code, building blocks. These are all things that came later on. And I think being a product company meant that we continued to build our vision towards being a platform with multiple products on top of it, rather than becoming a vertical project management tool.
Right.
And you can do it only when you really think about what's right for the product in the long term. Because back in the days, like everyone was saying, "Listen, do this feature. It's unlocking like this and this millions of error." And we said, "No, listen, we have a vision for what we want to build." And I think that this kind of things really are manifests of company that looks about creating value not only in the short term but for the long run. And you only have air to do it when this is like the when everyone are looking on how to build the best product for the future.
Got it. Fascinating. So when are you guys on an annual planning cycle or do you operate more fluidly?
Oh, it's a great question. Uh, so first of all, I would say that for us, speed is a value and speed of execution. The entire organization that we've built in the builders organization is built around speed. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, and the reason for that is that we believe that in many cases, being able to test your ideas fast, iterate fast, fix fast, and getting feedback from the real world is, it's like you say, like one picture worth thousand words. So we love to say that 1 minute in production is like years of debates. So suddenly everything becomes clear. So I think that for us, speed is a value, and as we scale, we continue to find new ways, to actually implement it, and it's a challenge. But back in the days, I would say, like even 4 years ago, we like we created a way or a dynamics structure that allows teams to be oriented by goals and not by time, I would say,
Uh-huh.
or not by like the calendar.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely by time, but not by the calendar. uh, and this meant that we were extremely agile. Okay, like meaning that with every new learning, we like to say that we want the reality to affect our plans. It's funny because many people say it, but many people also see new things in reality, and then they get bummed that they need to change their plans. And we wanted to build an organization that is optimized to react fast to new learnings, to new understandings of the reality. So back in the days, I would say that we didn't have a yearly planning. We just had like a quarterly guidance of mainly goals, I would say, or mainly opportunities that we want to
Mhm.
pursue. As we got larger, it becomes more complex because you have, on one hand, we have teams currently that are working on a daily cadence. For instance, the growth teams, like they are totally oriented by KPIs. They have a business KPI or a KPI that we feel is strategic, and they are working towards that. They don't have any land that they are holding in order to make them run as fast as they can. We also have our new products. We launched just recently Monday Service. It's a new WorkOS product. And the team there is working on, I would say, like monthly basis planning and so on. They have vision for the future, but it's like mainly driven by now the feedback that they're getting. And on the other hand, we have the teams that are building the things that we have a very deep understanding towards the future. So on the other end of the spectrum, we built Monday DB, and this was like a 2.5 or 3 years project. So we have the variety of all of these, and we like to say that both structure and methodologies, although we are one organization, we need to be very differential in how we work in different teams. And again, it's all about what is the challenge that we are trying to solve. And in some cases, deep planning, like when you build a building, you need a deep planning, and you can't do like it on a like iterative way. But when you are going after a new opportunity, you need to optimize learning. So we created a way in our structure of different archetypes of both structure and ways of work in order to allow all this spectrum of doing. We do have yearly objectives, and in the company level, on the strategy level, we just recently changed our view from 1 year to 2 years. But again, we believe that the reality changes so fast. So we are making a lot of emphasis of making sure that we are not falling in love, both with the plans and with the processes. Rather, always keep our eyes on the results and what we are trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, speed is clear that it's a core part of your structure, as is agility. Um, Not to be confused with agile as a process, but more almost like a flexible, agile culture is what I'm hearing, which seems like must keep you on your toes. When you think about investing in innovation, like how do you make sure that you're spending enough time on the right balance of, things that might take a little bit longer to actually execute versus, the quick win, the quick learning, and how do you drive that balance?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start from saying that in order to get this bit of execution, we have like few things that we really care about. Okay, one
Mm.
is the people that work in Monday and as builders. We are looking for people that are extremely passionate about what they do, and also from the other hand, extremely capable. Okay. uh, Second is that we're really doing a lot of things in order to drive ownership, meaning that our model is based on the fact that people can own real world challenges from end to end, and that we actually utilize everyone's brains. Okay, if you think about it, it's not a model of a centralized brain that needs to be worried that we are not doing enough innovation. Rather, we are creating a lot of different teams that are all thinking about the future of their domain and the future and the strategy as well. And also, transparency is really important to us. So, if you are a product manager in Monday, for instance, and we are a public company, we used to share all of our numbers with everyone on the dashboards. You as a candidate would come into the office and see the ARR of the company, how many signups do we have this week, and so on and so forth. Because we felt that having this context will drive you to the right thinking about innovation, about solving future problems and opportunities. And even now, when we are a public company, so product managers are under 10b5 plans in order to make sure that they can be you know exposed to all of the information. And in that sense, many times as leaders, I see our role as creating this kind of setup, bringing the right people, making sure that we are all aligned on the same goals. And then innovation comes from everywhere. For instance, Monday service as a product was something that one of the best PMs that of our team that were in our team came up with on a maternity leave. She actually saw indications for this opportunity and did a huge teaser. She came during the maternity leave and said, "Daniel, listen, I have to show you." And she did the kickoff for me and for others, and we all felt that this is gold. So I feel that first of all, Monday is a hyper growth company. Most of what we do is innovation. Okay, like most like
Yeah.
I really don't feel that this is something that is on our mind. But if we take AI for example, now it's a new era of AI, and everyone wants to innovate with AI. I can share that aside from the fact that we have people that are working on like the platform, platform offering of AI, it's actually everywhere, and you get ideas and opportunities from dozens of different teams and dozens of different people because we share the vision with everyone, we share the understanding of what we are trying to achieve, and they know, you know, the context, and they have the ownership and the ability to execute upon it. So, in that sense, I feel that if you're worried about not having enough innovation and you are in a position of hyper growth or even growth when you want to capture an opportunity, so maybe you need to think about it differently. And
Yeah.
instead of like having small set of people that are doing innovation on the side, think about how the entire organization can think like that. And we do have like perspectives on our plans of like the investment map and seeing that we are both like having the right cocktail as we depict it, but it's not the reason, it's the result that we test upon, that test ourselves upon, and not the other way around, if that makes sense.
Yeah. When I was preparing for our interview together, I did a little bit of reading, and I've heard you talk about this notion of passionate product people, your builder team, and I uncovered this really cool nugget. You have a KPI called "Do you want to see something cool?" Can you say something about that? It just seems
Yeah,
really, really indicative of what I'm hearing is just a really unique place to work.
yeah. This is throughout the day, like we put a lot of emphasis on goals. As I've mentioned, we really believe it's the best way to create focus. It's the best way to make sure that we are aligned and people think, not only iteratively, but also thinking, 10x and thinking differently. And with that, we're spending so much like hours in the day reviewing different goals and KPIs and so on. And this KPI is a bit different. This KPI is more about like your team and your culture, and whether like for me, like throughout the history of Monday, this KPI is like was a soft indication for me on how well our culture is spreaded and how fit the people that we have are for like our vision, and we as a team how we're performing. And basically, what it means, you know, how many times throughout your week someone has came to you and said, "Listen, I want to show you something that is going to blow your mind. This is something that something which is behind your expectations, something that you like, you did, you expected from X, but you got, you know, 10x." And I feel that for me, it can be around like what we talked earlier about someone that went to a maternity leave and came up with the next product that we need to build. This was a want to see something called KPI, but it can also be, something many of us have, especially as product mature, things in the product that become so hard so no one touches them. And someone says, listen, I just did something and I want to show you, and actually defines the strategy together with this act. And for me, it's a very, very good indication to the fact that people really understand the problem, that
Mhm.
people are not limited by my understanding or different leadership understanding of the issues. Rather, they understand the real world. Uh, and we are utilizing their brains, and they are part of the ones that sharing, both the opportunities and the challenges. And also, it's like, you know, many times there is the time that you talk about something and the time it takes to do the first step. And I really believe that these are the ones, these are the people that shows everyone that everything is possible, that we need to start and then things will follow the set things in a practical way. So I really believe this is a good indication to health, and it can be everything. It can be about data analysis that actually shows something that we haven't thought about, or like totally different about a problem that we already thought about. It can be around issue that we have. It can be around new process that we are doing. But the main point is like that you come and suddenly you see that someone has done something you haven't managed to expect from him even. So yeah.
Yeah, of course, my brain goes immediately to operationalize. Like, so if I had that KPI, like how would I actually measure it? So do you actually require people to have do you wanna see something cool,
No.
X number of times a quarter, or, like, how does that actually work?
No, this is a very important question.
Not
Yeah,
really.
and you're thinking like me, like, how do you do it structure way? Like, listen, I believe that there are things that we set as KPIs that then drive certain behavior, and there are things that we look retrospectively in order to see if what we thought the behaviors are right. And this is a soft one. It's more about thinking on your team, and I feel it's more of a like I can share that once, I like I'm talking about it with my leadership and people in the teams, and there are people, and usually it's the most pivotal people in the organization that actually drives the organization forward. That I have so many different examples from the day to day, and so the answer is that we are not treating it as a
True
formal
KPI.
KPI. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more a way of thinking, because I think that many times these kind of parts of the organization, like, how do you know that everyone are on culture? How do you know that you have the best people? How do you know that they share the same vision as you? Not only about the opportunities, but also for the challenges. We had product people, they saw the daily numbers. Okay. They say, listen, we need to operate on this funnel together with the marketing today because it's going to affect the month. And I think these kind of like indications really gives me confidence that it's not only theoretical, but everyone are together on it. And as a leader, you asked earlier, I think this what makes me confident, and this what makes me confident about innovation, and this what makes me confident about the fact that we managed to bring everyone together and to be like one unified team that aligned towards real life goals.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I love it. It sounds like it's kind of the conversation, the ongoing conversation that continues to keep front and center of almost the why, like why are we here
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, listen, we are now at the quick question answer period of our interview. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I think
All
so.
right.
I hope so.
Okay. So, what makes a great product leader?
Um, I think like a great product leader is someone that is hungry for impact and is relentless until he gets it. So, like the best product leaders that I saw, even when they are failing, you have confidence that they will find the answer because they really care about seeing how they move the needle. And also, I think that great product leaders understand that their job is to connect everyone's brains to the challenge. So, like the best product leaders I know, for instance, connect the teams directly to the customers. They like create a shared understanding of what we're trying to achieve, and not the how we are trying to achieve.
Love it. Love it. What is your favorite tool right now?
Aside from Monday, of course.
Well, I would assume Monday,
Yeah,
so maybe your second favorite tool.
yeah, it's the same. Okay, yeah. First of all, it's important to say that we use Monday
Yeah,
to run every aspect of the company, and I think it's a great privilege as a product company because Uh, we feel
Yeah.
it on a day-to-day basis, but I don't have one specific favorite tool. I can say that, like recently, ChatGPT is something that I use quite often, and other AI tools alike. So I can say that at least in the recent times, these are like the nice tools that I have. But I also really love tools that record user sessions and like seeing interactions with the users in all many like in all ways possible, both like sessions, data, and so on. But currently, it's mostly the AI tools. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, speaking of AI tools, tell us about an insightful question you asked an AI recently.
Ah, nice. So I'll give you one from my personal life and one
Love
from.
it.
Uh, so I really like to run. So I was supposed to do a marathon on April in Vienna, but unfortunately I got injured in my knee. So I
Oh,
went to do an MRI scan, and they said they give me the disc. You remember discs, and like from, and they say, "Listen, come back to the doctor appointment in 5 days." So I actually took it and used ChatGPT to analyze it, and afterwards I validated it with the doctor, and for me it was mind blowing because I got the results straight away. I could ask any follow up question that I wanted. I asked him to section by section, actually explain me in plain English what it means. And for me, it shows a lot about the potential of the technology, but with that, on how hard it is to adopt it for mass market, even when the technology is there. So this is just one thing.
wow.
Uh, for work, maybe something. You know what? We just recently announced like our AI consumption pricing, and I really use the different tools in order to get a very broad understanding on what everyone in the market are doing and what
Yeah.
are the changes that they did, and it made me independent, so it's fun. I'm not depending on everyone to do these kind of things, and also I have the information straight at my fingertips. So it didn't replace the deep work that we did and validations and so on, but I got an intuition very, very fast, and I think this is a very insightful bit that I got from it.
Yeah. Well, I love both of those case studies. By the way, on the personal case study, did you find the analysis fairly on your knee, fairly robust and helpful?
Even more than that. First of all, I asked the doctor when I met him because I didn't skip the doctor. So I
Yeah,
showed
of
him
course.
and he said, listen, this is accurate. But it's not only that. A week afterwards, I was supposed to go skiing. I just came back for France. And I asked the ChatGPT whether I can do skiing, and if I can, what should I do? Like
How to
should I do
protect yourself.
ski or snowboard? What is better,
Oh,
and so on and so
okay.
forth, and got a lot of points, which were very good points. And then, funny enough, I asked the same thing the doctor, and what did the doctor say? Said,
No
"Listen, I
ski.
don't know, I didn't ski." So you also understand that for me, it made the information accessible, and it was far more than just getting the results immediately. It's the fact that I can continue and dig deep.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was amazing, but the results were accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, last question for you. Have you read anything interesting lately?
Oh, yeah. So I'm reading a lot of blog posts and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm like
Do you
you
have
know
one that you love?
So maybe I'll tell you about a book. It's not so recently, but it's someone that stayed with me, something that stayed with me. So I
Great.
read a book about nonviolent communication.
Hmm.
It's basically like it's a form of communication in which it gives you practical tools. I really recommend this book. For me, it was like really transformative in how to communicate in a way that understands the other party and avoids from getting into pitfalls of feelings, and like how can you make actually very constructive conversations with other people. uh, and I really love it, and I think everyone should read it actually.
And the title of it again was what?
It's called nonviolent communication.
Nonviolent. I thought that's what you said. Wow.
Yeah, and it's by Marshall Rosenberg. It's really
Wow.
interesting. You should check it out. Yeah,
I will definitely add it to my very long and growing list.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Well, listen, Daniel, I just want to say thank you for being so generous with your time and your insights today. It's just been a lovely conversation, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Likewise. Thank you very much for having me.
This is ST Moadi again, founder and chair of Products That Count. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on your favorite platform, including Spotify and Apple. And please check out our other resources at productsthatcount.org. They're designed to accelerate your product career and make product the most important function in business. Until soon.